In August 2023, a sports media executive paid $1 to buy back his own company. Penn Entertainment had paid him $551 million for it across 3 years. The same day, Penn announced a new partnership, a 10-year, $2 billion deal with ESPN to launch a sportsbook called ESPN Bet. 28 months later, that deal was terminated too. Penn lost the Barstool money. Then it lost the ESPN money. Then it kept the same CEO. Dave Portnoy still owns Barstool. The executive was Dave Portnoy. He founded Barstool Sports in 2003 as a print newspaper distributed at Boston-area subway stations. By the 2010s, it had become one of the most trafficked sports media properties in the United States. Barstool's business was digital media, blog posts, podcasts, YouTube videos, social media content, a flagship loyalty audience of fans called the Stoolies. Revenue came from advertising, e-commerce merchandise, podcast subscriptions, and brand sponsorship deals. In 2016, the Chernin Group bought a controlling stake at a $15 million valuation. Portnoy stayed as the public face. On January 29, 2020, Penn National Gaming announced it would acquire a 36% stake in Barstool Sports for $163 million. Penn National was one of the largest casino operators in the United States. More than 40 casinos and racetracks across 19 states. Properties like Hollywood Casino, Plain Ridge Park, and the Charlestown Track. Penn made money from slots, table games, and pari mutuel wagering. With U.S. sports betting newly legalized state by state, Penn needed a digital brand. Portnoy's audience was the play. Under the deal, Penn became Barstool's exclusive gaming partner for up to 40 years. The plan? Convert Barstool's media audience into the next FanDuel. The initial deal closed on February 20th, 2020. 7 months later, Barstool Sportsbook launched in Pennsylvania. It briefly became one of the fastest growing sports betting apps in the United States. The pandemic was good for sports betting. Penn's stock peaked at $140 per share in March 2021. On February 17, 2023, Penn completed its full acquisition of Barstool Sports with an additional $388 million for the remaining 64%. Total cost, $551 million for a media property whose value was almost entirely its founder's audience and editorial brand. Penn's strategy was straightforward. Use Portnoy's audience to challenge the FanDuel and DraftKings duopoly. Investors were initially delighted. There was one problem. Gambling licenses are issued by state regulators. Sports betting in the United States is regulated state by state. Each state's gaming commission decides who is suitable to hold a license. Beginning in December 2022, the Massachusetts Gaming Commission publicly challenged Barstool Sportsbook's license suitability. The cited concerns, Portnoy-related issues with prior content and prior public behavior. In March 2023, Penn and Barstool were fined $250,000 in Ohio for targeting University of Toledo students to sign up for the sportsbook. Penn paid. Barstool issued an apology. In New York, multiple major operators, reportedly including MGM and DraftKings, declined to partner with Barstool for the state's mobile sports betting license. The cited reason, Portnoy. Portnoy himself later said publicly, "We got denied gambling licenses because of me." Penn had paid $551 million for a company whose founder was a regulatory liability in the very industry the acquisition was supposed to dominate. In summer 2023, ESPN approached Penn with a different proposal. ESPN was a different kind of brand. ESPN had 50 million unique monthly viewers. ESPN had a regulatory record that any state gaming commission would accept without hesitation. On August 8, 2023, Penn announced 2 transactions on the same day. First, Penn sold 100% of Barstool Sports back to Dave Portnoy. The price was $1. The transaction included non-compete and other restrictive covenants. Penn took an $800 million pre-tax non-cash loss in the third quarter of 2023, including over $700 million in goodwill write-downs. Second, Penn announced a 10-year, $2 billion partnership with ESPN, $1.5 billion in cash payments plus $500 million in stock warrants, to launch a sportsbook called ESPN Bet. ESPN Bet would replace Barstool Sportsbook in the 17 U.S. states where Penn held active sports betting licenses. Dave Portnoy posted a video that afternoon. He explained the separation in his own words. He framed the buyback as restitution. He suggested Barstool would never be sold again. Multiple financial press outlets called the deal one of the great trades of all time. Portnoy had received cash and Penn stock totaling press estimates of over $100 million across the two tranches. He had just bought back his company for $1. The cycle that started with a $163 million investment in 2020 closed with Penn shareholders at approximately $850 million on the write-down. The new bet was bigger. On November 14, 2023, ESPN Bet launched in 17 U.S. states. Initial market reception was positive. ESPN's brand recognition and Penn's licensing footprint compounded. Press coverage was cautiously optimistic. Penn's stated target, 20% U.S. sports betting market share by 2027. In 2024, ESPN Bet reached 2.5%. Penn's interactive division, which housed ESPN Bet, lost approximately $500 million in 2024. The fourth quarter of 2024 alone accounted for $110 million of that loss. For context on the market, FanDuel and DraftKings are the two dominant U.S. sportsbook operators. They take bets on professional and college sports, set the odds, and earn their margin as the house edge. FanDuel held approximately 41% of the U.S. sports betting handle. DraftKings held approximately 36%. Together, they controlled roughly 4 out of $5 wagered in the United States. ESPN Bet's 2.5% was not closing the gap. It was structural. By May 2025, ESPN Bet had reached approximately 3% market share. Penn CEO Jay Snowden warned in his first quarter 2025 earnings call of an inflection point if the trajectory did not improve materially. It did not improve materially. By August 2025, Penn Interactive losses had narrowed, but ESPN Bet's penetration plateau was clear in the data. On December 1st, 2025, Penn Entertainment and ESPN mutually terminated the partnership. The 10-year deal had run for 2 years. Penn booked additional write-downs. ESPN Bet shut down across all 20 active jurisdictions. The Vanderbilt Report's piece on the failure became one of the most shared finance pieces of late 2025. It was titled, How ESPN Bet Burned $1 Billion Chasing 3% Market Share. Penn's stock, which had peaked at $140 in March 2021, was trading around $20 by the end of 2025. Penn shareholders were down approximately 85% from peak. Penn paid $551 million for Barstool, sold it back to Dave Portnoy for $1, then spent $2 billion on ESPN Bet. Lost that too. Total cost, over $2.5 billion to capture 3% of a market the company has now exited. Dave Portnoy still owns Barstool, debt-free. Jay Snowden, the CEO who presided over both bets, is still the CEO. The bigger bet just lost faster.